Hey, here we go again, y'all. This topic is just making me nauseated because it just keeps like coming up. Judgment and judgmental people. And again, it's a petition. There's a song by Erica Badu. What's the song? I'm listening to Jill, so I'll try to remember the lyrics to Erica Badu. She says, "The man that knows everything, or the man that knows something, knows that he knows nothing at all." And I used to work with somebody many years ago, and when we would encounter people that were younger than us in a conversation, she would just look at them and she'd say, "I'm gonna ask you again in 5 years," because time will teach you and time will show you some things, right? And the most concerning thing about this whole judgmental um, soapbox that people put themselves on is that they speak with a judgmental element of almost scoffing, at the other people or the other person. And I don't even want to mention no names, like from the people that I'm really getting this vibe from. There's so much happening in the public eye these days. Everything's being exposed, rightfully so. We got a front seat to karma, right? And people have they say. So again, we've talked about this over the years, how social media has made people a lot bolder behind the screen, behind the camera. But then these people act these things out as you see them, right? These are your friends, these are your families, these are your coworkers or whatever. Not everybody has that filter. I've been guilty. And that's one of the things that I want to talk to you about. Not guilty of being judgmental, but being guilty of acknowledging when that urge to be judgmental creeps into your thoughts and not allowing it, not giving it permission to become an action, something that you act on. So that's where I am. Now, I can definitely say in my younger years, you know, I grew up in the Gary Coleman age, where when people will start to speak out and be cute or whatever, these child stars or whatever, getting flip at the mouth and doing so. It was entertaining, but we knew we couldn't do it. But nonetheless, you picked up on those things, and as you got older, you wanted to flex, exert yourself. You come up with some of these clips, right? And it comes out funky, it comes out judgmental. It's not always funny, and then it gets to a point where you're too old for that shit, right? Okay, so we heard the context of how all this goes. Now, when we start talking about the topic of spiritual intelligence and understanding that that's not supposed to be, or it is best delivered and received in love. It is not supposed to be something that's judgmental if you want to be effective, right? Some years ago, I started, you know, noticing, and this is, in my 20s, I started noticing that there was relationships that I decided I wanted to maintain and have good experiences with these people. And I was trying to figure out, how do I maintain a good, how do I maintain a relationship with these people when we don't have anything in common other than we're blood related? So then I started trying to find ways to navigate through conversations where I didn't lose my self worth, integrity, and waste my time or theirs, right? Or things not to get combative because people are judgmental. It's just like, okay, if you don't believe this, if you don't go to this church, if you don't do this, you don't do that, you think you're better than us. And um, what's the other thing? Um, just the whole attack thing. That's the word I'm looking for, attack. So, how do you be proactive? How do you be loving? How do you be tender? How do you be genuine? How do you be vulnerable in these circles, right? When you're dealing with people that have taken ownership of spirituality and bullying all being the same thing somehow, and where you're punished or abused because you don't share the same views as somebody else. So to break down judgment, and a lot of this is in the context of how religion was introduced to us, how, enslavement has played a large role in the way people are indoctrinating their thoughts and their processes and their actions, and they're not making the connection. So, judgment from the 13th century, um, action of trying at law, trial, capacity for making decisions from the Old French legal judgment, the last judgment, from the 13th century, penalty imposed by a court. You heard people say, what makes you the judge and jury over my life? There's a lot of times they're in context of somebody who's coming across very combative because they don't share the same views on something. And the thing is, nobody's wrong. Everybody's right. Everybody deserves to have their own version of the truth, but you don't have the right to ridicule somebody else. Now, there are people that joke like that. And that's just the way that they relate and show up with people, and everything. Like they can't believe that you're taking it serious. And, maybe people should lighten up. But nonetheless, maybe there should be a pause at some point where you say, man, this conversation is not being interpreted the way in which I thought it would be interpreted. And so instead of me being offended, and instead of me um, starting to punch below the belt and make fun of a person, people that put you down for having an opinion and your emotions, it speaks more to their character and their insecurities than it does about your thoughts. And everybody has a role in it. And it takes a lot of spiritual intelligence and a lot of love to navigate these situations. So I'm not saying that these things are easy, but they're a lot of work. Like at the top of the conversation, when I said recognizing before it becomes a judgment, is the fact that I have the thought to say, wow, this thought I just had in response to what's happening sounds judgmental. Maybe I should not say anything, or maybe I should find a way to express what I'm interested in contributing to this conversation in a way that could be palatable, and it don't cost you nothing. And the beautiful thing is you get to nurture and maintain that relationship, because at the end of the day, that's what's really important. That relationship that you want to salvage, knowing that you all don't share the same truth. Excuse me, I don't know who this is. Oh, should have known. I'm not a fan of Music Soul Child. This song was getting on my nerves. Yeah, I said it. I'm not a fan of Music Soul Child. Yeah, and I like some of his songs, but I'll move on. I digress. Okay, so spiritual people say they're intelligent or think that they're intelligent should be concerned about, coming off as judgmental. You know, you can express, part of the word judgment means expression of divine displeasure. That's a given. That's possible. That's respectable. That's commendable. But it's how you express that. And sometimes you have to, do what you got to do. But that shouldn't be every instance. If that's the case, you're out of your element. You're out of your element if you feel like you have to, express your divine displeasure in everything, because you're going to be around disagreeable spirits. Work your way, vibe your way into an area of agreeable. So find where you have the agreeable spirit and kindness. Lead with kindness and love. So spirituality is the essence of things we cannot fully explain, yet we know and understand that essence to be the truth. And with discernment, we take spiritually guided action. And for me, spiritually guided actions are always going to be two things: the fruits of the Holy Spirit and the 42 principles of mind. That's my go to for everything. And so Let's say intelligence of the source of the Most High. God is intelligent beyond measure. So that means that the whole God concept, being made in God's image, we're always seeking the measure of God's intelligence because it's beyond measure. So, given that, we're always growing and evolving, and we're always learning, or should be striving to learn something. My mama used to always say, my golden lady, my mom used to always say, when you interact with people that you don't get along with, just be quiet and listen. Hear where they're coming from because you might find something that you can relate to. And then you agree to talk about those things with them. Now, this is not something that you verbally say to them, but that's how she trained me with my thought processes growing up. Listen, find common ground, relate to them there. Don't get judgmental. And the just to show you how slippery some people are with their mentality and their inability to grow, being stagnant and working on it. Not even trying to, not just saying this to put them down, but just to acknowledge what I'm talking about in this conversation. When you make the attempt to meet people where they are, they'll throw a jab even at you then and then say you're being passive aggressive. It's just like, well, you can't with this person. You're just trying to be agreeable. You're trying to meet them where they are. You're trying to let them have their truth and live in your truth, but you're not going to debate it and you're not going to judge them about it. You got to have thick skin. You got to have thick skin. So God is intelligent beyond measure. So we all are growing and striving to that level of understanding where we are in God's timing and the things that we're enduring and learning uh, in this earth school. So intelligence doesn't attack people and definitely would not attack you in the name of God. So let that be your only red flag and don't collect red flags. So when we talk about intelligence in the origins of the word, it's the highest faculty of the mind. So if intelligence is the highest faculty of your mind, you have to learn something so you can keep going higher, right? You got to max out and then grow some more and know some more, right? You can't know everything. If you know everything, you're going to leave here. They're going to snatch you up out of here because you become dangerous. Okay? So, the highest faculty of the mind, capacity for comprehending general truths, and comes from the Latin of understanding, knowledge, power of discerning, the art of intelligence, discerning, appreciative, present participle, understand, comprehend, to come to know. Intelligence is to come to know. So if you're coming to know yourself and coming to know other people and coming to know the intelligence that God wants you to have and to operate in, then you're coming to know. So you're always learning. All right. And the other one, I talked about the essence of God. Essence. This guy I met a long time ago. Um, I was in a relationship and he tried to talk to me. I was just like, oh, brother, I'm in something right now. Thank you, though. I appreciate the compliment, whatever. And he started to walk, then he stopped. He was just like, hey, does he satisfy the essence of who you are? Shook me. I wish I knew where he was because I gave him a great response. But baby boy, long gone. No one had ever asked me that before. So when you talk about the essence of who you are, in the essence of the intellect of God, we're talking about the substance. And the origins of the word means the substance of the Trinity, whatever that means to you. It should mean something to you. No matter what your religious preference is, whatever level of spirituality that you have, it doesn't matter. There should be a Trinity In in my opinion, let me stop saying should, like I know every damn thing. In my opinion, there should be a Trinity symbol in your system, your spiritual system, that resonates with you and has some substance for what you do. So the general sense and the basic element of anything is this essence. And it says here that the meaning is ingredient which gives something its particular character. And they use the example of a distillery and distilled oils from plants. I don't think you know how deep that is. The essence of an oil that comes from a plant, because we're all made up of the earth, right? And so the very essence of who we are, literally, if you strip the oil out of our body or the water, since we're mostly water, right? That's getting down to the essence of who you are. And this is why I always make a particular case for soul food and the essence of what you say, what you do, what you listen to, what you watch, what you eat, what you drink, how all of that plays into who you are. And none of it is by coincidence or by accident. That's all I got. Now let's pull some energy around this. I have not done my goddess deck in a long time. Too long. Hope this message finds you well. Hope something I said resonated for you. Oh, spiritual intelligence and no judgment, no judgment, no judgment. Grounding. No judgment, no judgment, no judgment. Grounding. The number three, the three, this is a 3-day. This is the second one, came in with three. And that is versatility, talent, expressive, creativity, intuition, the divine principle, imaginative, communication, self expression, success, positive, optimistic, artistic. And the goddess is Sachi. Sachi? Sachi. She's so gorgeous. Sachi. Voluptuous, salty. All right. Temple of the Ancestors, goddess of grounding from South Africa. Again, Temple of the Ancestors. The element is the bush. Um, okay. So this is our great ancestors, Sawachi, also known as Sarchi or Sarah Bartman. Remember, they had her on display over in Europe. I want to say in the England area. Yeah, London. Had her on display as the Hottentot Venus because her waist was so small and her bottom was so round and thick and voluptuous. You know, she had to be a freak of nature, right? Because she's a goddess, right? And they hadn't seen a goddess, so they put her in the circus, right? Don't get me started. But before that, she was Sawachi, the cocoon girl in South Africa who deserved better. Protect your magic. Protect your heart. Your heart is your own. Your body is your own. Your mind is yours. Your truth and story are your own. Be rooted in your truth. Create healthy boundaries. It's not what we're talking about. See how that works? Your energy is unsteady. Breathe. Come into the present. Say out loud, I am here. Trauma, stress, Overwhelm, anxiety, and fear disconnect you from your body. Grounding keeps you present. When you feel rootless or unsettled, come back to your breath. Meditation and breath work are grounding to try are grounding. Try earthing. Connect your feet to soil. Free writing, clapping, stomping, or rubbing your hands together are all grounding. And your God Goddess declaration is, I am firmly planted and deeply rooted. You see how significant that was to the message? This is why I do what I do. I'm gonna do a lighted oracle. Cool. Manifest your dreams. First, release all negative thoughts that block your mind and limit your beliefs. Physical moves like walking or practicing yoga is either good before you visualize your goals and feel them with all your senses. You one more, get out of here. You know, I've been going for 20 minutes. This is a new deck. This is a new deck, and I'm gonna check the vibe with it. Let's see what I was trying to do the shuffle. Exercise your vibes. Let's split the deck. Exercise your vibes. I think that's it. I really think that's it. Exercise your. I really think that's it. I'm gonna go no further. Exercise your vibes. Charismatic, inspiring, dreaming, discerning. Mhm. Exercise your vibes. Didn't we just talk about grounding and moving around? Exercise your vibes. There is too much static in the air to move ahead right now. Get back to earth and get grounded. Ah, I mean sweat. A good dose of physical exercise gets your energy flowing in one direction, upward to levels of vibration, and it keeps you from getting in your own way. I swear, this message is so poignant. All the cards that I've drawn have been right in sync and tandem with what this message that I was there to give you all. And the grounding, everybody, the judgers and the judged, all need what these cards are saying, to ground, to get back to yourself, to take a breath, to walk in nature, to exercise. You know, all right. What's the last thing I said? To upward to higher levels of vibration, and keeps you from getting in your own way. Your brain is working overtime, and your spirit has been spotted leaving the premises of your body. I'm laughing, but that's literally what happened to me earlier this year when I told you I had two sisters die in 1 month. This says your brain is overworked overtime, and your spirit has been spotted leaving the premises of your body. I swear, it felt like my soul just checked completely out. By exercising, you quiet your overactive mind chatter, and call your spirit back. Only then can you begin to hear your angels and guides who are patiently waiting to offer guidance for your present challenges. Shifting your energy from mental to physical focus through exercise will jumpstart not only your psychic sense, but your creativity as well, especially if you're stuck and you're stuck in a lot of different ways. So if you want to access your vibes, give your mind a break and get the let out. Once you do, notice how negative energy leaves your body and the ideas, solutions suddenly leap into your mind. The universe is always broadcasting creative and positive vibrations to you. Exercise changes your frequency so that you can access this source of inspiration better and put it to use. Ashe. I literally was just saying this this past weekend. I went to a birthday party, and Jaguar White, right, came up, and I had to say something. And my thing was essentially, in summary, I said, you know what? I have to look at myself naked every day in the mirror. I don't have the air room. Oh, it was two people. He was talking about Tiny, T.I.'s wife, and Jaguar White. And I didn't like the way the conversation was going. And what I said was, I have to look at myself naked in the mirror every day. And I don't have air, room, space, mental capacity, or even the energy or interest to tear anybody else down, to expose anybody else's business. Cat Williams came up to expose anybody's business. I said, you know, the way my personal struggle is, I don't have the room to discuss what anybody else has done, hasn't done, etc., and so on, because I'm too busy working on myself. If I was perfect and I had nothing to strive for, maybe I'd have the time to do such, but I don't see ever being in that vein. So until real soon, I hope this message finds you well. Peace.